Hey everybody, it's Christine Parma and I am back live with you again this wonderful Thursday night in the United States to talk to you about the ching about about money and money mindset because it's so important. This topic is, my goal for tonight is to give you some mindset shifts and also some strategies for how to shift your money mindset into high gear so that you can attract the kind of financial abundance that you desire and you deserve. And if you're new to me and my page, I will introduce myself real quick. I'm Christine Parma, and you can find out more about me at christineparma.com. And I help ambitious mama entrepreneurs to build their soul-fulfilling, profitable dream businesses without sacrificing everything that matters to them in the meantime while they do it. Because frankly, I believe you shouldn't have to choose between following your dreams and spending time with the ones that you love. So if you want to find out more about me, you can find out that at christineparma.com and see how I help those mama entrepreneurs build their profitable businesses. So speaking of profit, that is exactly what has been on my mind for today's topic about money mindset. And today's live stream is more of an inspirational theme. That's what I do on Thursday nights. But, also it's very practical from a business standpoint. If you're in business for yourself and your money mindset or your mindset in general isn't where it needs to be, then you're going to have a lot harder time making money in your business and making your business work. And I want you to have an easy time. I want you to be able to build your business, your profitable business, with more grace and ease. So as always, if you have comments, I would love for you to share them in the comment section below. And definitely, if you share a comment, I can feature it on the screen and definitely, try and hop into this conversation during the live stream because I would love to hear from you and get your perspective on what you think. I mean, I'll start off with this. What do you think about money? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you feel kind of meh, I could take it or leave it about it? I'm curious. How do you feel about money? You can please type it in the comments below. I'll tell you how I feel about money. Well, how I used to feel about money. I think as a lot of people experience when they're growing up, I heard a lot of phrases like money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for your money. Things, like, oh, you see money on the ground and, oh, that's dirty. Don't pick that up. Money's dirty. And it wasn't necessarily just, things that my parents would say. Sometimes what it really comes down to is your interpretation of something that's said or something you observe in your world. And especially when you're a kid, you take that in and that gets set, right, in your way of thinking and can determine your thinking, and steer your thinking for the rest of your life after that. Alfredo says, money is a tool to help support family by paying bills, food, and keeping a roof over our heads. Yeah, so you see it as a tool. That's awesome. That is a point that I wanted to make exactly. The first step really for shifting your money mindset, if you have one that's not as empowering as you want it to be, and really how you can see whether or not your money mindset is supporting you creating the kind of life in business that you want, is observe what's happening in your life, right? Does money come easily to you? Do you have to work really hard for it? Do you feel like you are constantly struggling with money? What you see, and this is kind of across the board with mindset, what you observe as happening in your life is a reflection of what's going on in the inside. It's sometimes it's really hard to take responsibility for that and really, admit that to yourself. But your life is a reflection of what's going on inside, because What's going on inside, if you think of it from a logical perspective, what's going on inside determines the kind of decisions you make. It determines, what actions you take or don't take, what risks you take or don't take, right? So, my first step, and thank you, Alfredo, for sharing that, was to see money as a tool, and I can say that, okay, see money as a tool, but let's, think about what that means. Money is, I guess people used to trade rocks and pieces of gold, and that sort of thing. And Alfredo's saying, from his family perspective, there's some emotional attachment to money. Giving money is how my mother shows her children love. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, money has a lot of emotional attachment because it's the tool for how we trade services, how we trade energy, essentially. Money is just in a way of making a transaction. Somebody does something for you and you pay them money because that's the way that you can represent in a tangible fashion your energy, your appreciation for the service, for example, or the product that they're providing. So, like you said, your mom shows her love by giving her money, by giving her children money. Yeah, and it may be, and I don't want to say that's good or bad. I think what you have to look at then around that is she giving her children, is your mom giving her children money out of like a feeling of guilt, and she feels guilty, and so she gives the money, and that's, kind of wrapped up with how she's expressing her love? Or is it just out of a generosity, in a spirit of giving and wanting to, nurture and support? So really, again, it comes down to the intention and the mindset behind the giving of the money. But when you can start to shift your perspective to seeing money as a tool, and that it's neither good nor bad, that it's not the root of all evil, that money's not dirty, that rich people aren't bad, that, hey, money might grow on trees someday. You never know. Why not? And that it is essentially how you spend your money is a reflection of your values, or should be a reflection of your values. So that is one of the steps I wanted to give you into helping to make this mindset shift, to money as a tool. Okay, well, if it's a tool, then how do I want to use this tool in the world? How do I want to, use it to express who I am and the things that I want to make happen in the world? So when you start to think about money as a magnifier or reflection of your values, and if you're really clear on the values you have, and if you want to do good in the world, for example, you want to do good things and you want to help people and you want to make your contribution, then money helps you do that on a bigger level. It magnifies the impact, the positive impact you can have. And I'm talking about this because, I run, and I'm very much into personal development and kind of, more spiritual things. And a lot of people who are spiritual practitioners, maybe healing arts, who want to help people, who want to do good in the world, somehow, in their upbringing or in their interpretation of what money is, they somehow arrived at the conclusion, and it's not even necessarily consciously, they arrived at the conclusion that being spiritual and being a good person and money are just not compatible. And there are a whole lot of amazing people doing amazing work in the world who shun money because they think if they accept money, then that acceptance of the money or receiving of abundance in their life somehow diminishes their spirituality, or their values, somehow tarnishes their values or compromises the work that they're doing. And I really want to challenge that. I want to tell you, no, it's not true. It's not true. I mean, if you think of it from the shift that I had to make when I was, because I was very much in high school, I was very much into saving the environment, and I started a environmental group at my high school, and we were doing all of these recycling, and very much, and I think it still goes on to a large extent, in the environmental camp, is the vilifying of corporations and companies and money, right? And money. So because the corporations are greedy, they cut down all the trees and they pollute the rivers and they pollute the air and that sort of thing. And yes, that happens. Yes, that happens. But it's not money that's the cause of it. It's the values that the company holds or doesn't hold, and the values of the people. Money and the expansion of, the corporate structure, money is just the tool that they're using. So, the shift that I made is I thought, well, I really want to save the environment. I want to, raise a bunch of money and donate to this rainforest preserve. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I only have $1 or $10, because I think money's bad, so I'm not attracting it into my life, then I only have $1 or $10 to donate to help save the rainforest. But if I am open to receiving more money into my life, and say I had a bunch of it, I think at the time I was thinking $1 million. $1 million is how much I want. Then I have $1 million that I can leverage to take action and do good things in the world that are aligned with the values that I have. So when I realized that, I thought, oh wow, I could actually buy hectares of rainforest with $1 million, and I could save it from logging and save all the rainforest animals that are in the rainforest. I thought, I've been getting this all mixed up. I've been getting this all wrong. Now, sometimes it can be as simple as making a shift like that, a perspective shift. And that's the beginning step, no matter what, is to start shifting your perspective and start thinking, what if it were different? What if I could do great things with money? What if there really is no limit to what I can attract into my life as far as money? Because all it is energy and a tool, and I can align it with my values and do all of these great things in the world that I want to do. So almost like curiosity about money and how it can show up in your life. And that's the first step. Now, if you've grown up around a money mindset that is really impoverished, poor thinking, a lot of the people who grew up in the age of the Great Depression in America they're very, very frugal and very tight with their money, and that's a result of what was the struggle that they were going through at the time of not having enough money, of not having enough food, of being extremely poor a lot of times. But they held that money mindset through the rest of their life. So sometimes, your mindset is it's so ingrained in who you are that, you got to do some work. You got to do some inner work to uproot those money weeds in your garden, so that all of the beautiful flowers and fruit trees, can grow in your money garden, and you can have an abundance of money coming into your life. So, you can do personal development work. You can do EFT tapping, which, is, you tap on the different points and go through a series of affirmations. You can find some great videos on YouTube around that if you're curious about EFT. And so I would definitely encourage you to try that. But, the beginning part is to see money as a tool. So are you guys on board with expanding your money mindset? If you are, say yes. Say yes in the comments below. And if you have questions as we go along, please ask questions. And if you're just joining me, I'm Christine Parma. You can find out more about me at christineparma.com. I'll just put that up there real quick. I think I can write here on the screen. And I help mama entrepreneurs really to grow and build their profitable, soul-fulfilling businesses without sacrificing everything else in the meantime. Because I'm a mom, and I don't feel like my business should, be the source of me sacrificing everything else in my life that really means something to me, like spending time with my kids and enjoying the good parts of life. So I want that for you too. guy or girl, woman or man, I should say, you deserve to have all of the goodness that life has to offer. That's what I believe. So, when you start to you see money as a tool and you start to find your peace with money, you've got to find your peace with money. If you're in a battle with money all of the time, and a lot of times it can seem that way, then you got to find your peace with money somehow. And a lot of times that, that may come in the form of getting the help and support you need to make that shift. For me, gosh, well, I guess this is over 10 years ago. I got into a really, really bad place with money. I was in a lot of debt. I had been in a depression for a couple of years and made some very poor financial and just generally poor decisions from that place that got me, the consequence was I was in a lot of debt. And what helped me turn that around was starting to shift, to do inner work, to do a lot of really, really deep inner work, not just around money mindset, but on myself as a person. Because a lot of times when we have a struggle with money or feel like money is bad, it comes back to self-worth and your capacity to receive the good stuff in life and to enjoy life and to embrace all of the great parts of what life can be. And if you feel like you're not deserving of that, well, one of those good things in life, is money. It can be, when you want money to, be aligned with your values and you want to do good things with money. So we end up pushing the good parts of life away, including money. So I started doing the inner work and my life changed. Just dramatically changed. The event that really was the turning point in my life was T. Harv Eker's Millionaire Mind Intensive. He's not personally doing those anymore. There's another company, he sold his company, and there's another company who's doing those. If it's the same as it was, over 10 years ago, if you can get to one, do it, because it will change your life. It will make a huge difference. And it doesn't have to be that. You can do the tapping, you can do meditation, I love guided meditations for helping to shift my mindset and to be open to receiving a different perspective and thinking from a different perspective. And then the next step really is if you have whatever money you have in your life, appreciate it. Give thanks for it. If you find some money lying on the ground, say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I would like more of this, please. If you have money to pay your bills, even if it's just enough to pay your bills at this moment, give thanks for that money, that it is enough to pay your bills. If it's not enough to pay your bills, give thanks for the money you do have, and ask the divine. Say, I would like more of this. And, try and shift your perspective from even the energy. I talked in another video I did about shifting your energy out of a lower vibration and, where you're feeling desperate around money and clingy towards money, and you can't, be generous with it because you don't have enough of it, no matter how much money you have. That happens to people. Like, you could have $1 billion and think, I don't have enough money to share. Start shifting your energy and your thinking around money. And that shift in the mindset will start to be reflected in what you see in your life and what's happening in your life and being reflected in the outer world. Right? I talked about this at the beginning. The outer world is a reflection of your inner world, of what's going on in your mind, with your energy level. That's what you're seeing out there. So if you're open to doing that, who's open to experimenting? If you're open to experimenting and, experimenting with expanding your money mindset, give me a thumbs up in the comments or say, yes, I'm open to experimenting. I encourage you to always be open to experimenting and to shifting your perspective on things and potentially seeing things differently than you thought. Because you know what? The bottom line is truth is not absolute. It's kind of a different talk for another day. But there are as many truths as there are perspectives in the world. And you can see it playing out in the world. Everybody thinks, my gosh, there's so many truths that people think, is the one true truth, that another person says, no, that's not truth. That's, my truth is different. And truth in a lot of ways is individual. So, find your truth around money, and how you make sure it's in alignment with what you want to have show up in your life. You can do this for money. You can do this for any other thing in your life that you want more of: more love, more abundance, more peace, more happiness. Today I'm talking about money because it's such a hot button issue, and it's something, it's a tool that we all, pretty much all of us use. I'm sure there's some people that aren't using money, way off somewhere, in the backwoods somewhere, but it's a tool. And I wanted to jump on today and talk to you about really shifting your money mindset, and then so you can shift it into high gear. And by high gear, I mean in a way that serves you, whatever high gear is for you, in a way that serves you more, whether that's $10,000 you need, $1 million, a month that you want, or just frankly being the channel for money, so you can channel it out and do good work in the world. Like if you're a nonprofit organization, something like that. So I hope you found this talk and this training inspiring and motivating, and I hope you got some, aha moments as you're listening to it. I sure had a lot of fun talking to you all. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to leave, even after the replay, then please share them below and I will reply personally to you. And if you would like to find out more about me, who I am, what I'm about, and how I work with my clients, you can find out more about me at christineparma.com. So I wish you a wonderful rest of your evening, and I wish you amazing success in your business and life. And until I see you next week on Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, I wish you all the abundance that life has to offer. Take care. Bye-bye.